Hello, everybody. This is Linda, your very calm host of Interesting as Fuck.
Never
Um,
angry,
Never
super
angry,
centered, very zen.
cool, calm, collected, a
Um,
little mysterious. Even I'll throw that in there. Uh, Today, and the reason why we're speaking about it, if you're not familiar with those references, go back to the last episode, which, yeah, that was funny. Well, today we're going to be talking about 6 degrees of Elaine. Because over the last couple of episodes, and obviously, like our length of our friendship and relationship, Elaine has dropped some stories about how, like, the cool encounters she's had with like famous people. And we decided to have an episode about that because why not talk about connections to famous people on a show about connecting to other people? Right?
Love it.
So Elaine will like take us through, but my first question to get us off, what was the first encounter you remember with a famous
So
person?
yeah, it's a great question. So I do remember my first celebrity encounter, but what I will start with is the celebrity encounter I wished had happened the earliest. So I fell in love with Tom Cruise at a very young age. Who among us, especially us millennials who remember him pre Oprah couch jumping, that we did 100% reference in our Going Clear, the doc is in, hashtag callback. So I was just in love with Tom Cruise. And I grew up in Connecticut outside of New York, and Tom Cruise had a house in Connecticut. So for my 4th birthday, we threw a tea party called Tea with Tom and invited Tom Cruise to said birthday party, and he never showed up, which is fine. Like, I get it. He was busy. This would have been like, I know. But this would have been like peak Tom Cruise days. Like, he's probably somewhere else filming God knows what at the time. But yeah, so that was the first time I wish I had a celebrity encounter because I knew he lived nearby. But my first ever, I don't know that you're even like, I don't know that you could even guess this one, but it's such a good one because another celebrity that lived in Connecticut at the time, and I was probably maybe 7 when this happened. So not a whole lot later or older than my failed Tea with Tom. We are just pouncing around Fairfield, Connecticut. I think we stopped for lunch somewhere. My mom had to pick up something, and there was this restaurant called Centro. And I just kind of look up and I see the golden, wavy, flowy hair of Mr. Michael Bolton. And he was. You did not see that one coming, did you?
I'm sorry. What?
Michael Bolton lived in Fairfield, Connecticut at the time, or at least had a house there, spent time there. And he went into Centro all the time. And he was like one of my favorite singers at that time. And so it was my first celebrity sighting. And what I did was I freaked out. I like ran to the car and started crying because I was like too nervous to say hi. So my mom went in and like got his autograph for me. I didn't go in with her because I was starstruck and didn't know what to do with myself, which is not how I act now because it takes a lot to make me starstruck. But that was my first ever celebrity sighting was Michael fucking Bolton.
You really buried the lead. The Michael Bolton story.
And this is in the heyday. Like, Michael Bolton is no bigger than he is in this moment when I'm meeting him. Like, we're talking when a man loves a woman. Like, that had probably just come out. Like peak long, flowy, curly, beautiful hair, Michael Bolton. Early mid 90s. This would have been early 90s, Michael Bolton.
Wow.
So that's my first celebrity sighting. That one, there was no interaction because I freaked out because I was young and didn't know what to do with myself. Yeah, that was a good one.
I need a moment of silence. Linda is not very speechless a lot of times, but I am. I am currently.
Yeah, that was you didn't see that one coming, did you?
I did not. Also, everybody go listen to Michael Bolton's rendition of Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. And
yeah,
props to Otis Redding. It's a great, but Michael throws it out of he knocks it out of the park with that one.
Also, How Can We Be Lovers? Like, one of my favorites. How Am I Supposed to Live Without You? Come on. But when you're done with Sitting by the Dock of the Bay, my request is you go watch Celebrity Lip Sync, and you watch Pete Davidson. Oh my gosh, did I totally just forget? What was the name of that show? Is that what it was?
It was the one where Tom Holland did the umbrella
one,
right?
Yeah. Oh my God, why am I forgetting the name of that? But the one that Pete Davidson is on.
Okay.
You absolutely must go watch that.
Okay.
Because they do the Lonely Island song that Michael Bolton is a part of, Jack Sparrow, which is the catchiest fucking song in the universe.
Catchiest song.
So after you've listened to all of these late 80s, early 90s bangers and that lovely cover, go watch Jack Sparrow. The music video is hilarious, but also the lip sync is perfection.
All right, I've never seen that. I will put that on. But God, I cannot believe. All right, it's what
so I don't know that you're. I'm not what direction do you think we're going after this? What direction could we possibly go after this?
You could go any connection, because now I kind of want to be this is your first one, your first aspiring connection. And now I feel like we need to go to either a music person, and please don't say Jason Momoa, because I will get angry, because we know that story. We will revisit it for the people who have it. Or you
Stories. Stories.
Plural. Yeah.
She's flicking me off, everybody.
Yeah. Why did I agree to this episode? I know. Why? I'm gonna have a talk. I'm gonna have to talk with me later.
I'm gonna put myself in the corner, put myself in timeout.
That's right. We could go SNL. You could go music.
Oh.
You could go SNL. Because you talked about Lonely Island.
Okay.
Or you could go a movie, because Jack Sparrow, because Michael Bolton's a cinephile.
Yeah, that's outrageous. Don't worry, Johnny Depp is not on my list, so I haven't actually met Jack Sparrow. But we will go beachy themed, because this one I don't think was. Well, I was maybe 12 or 13 when this one happened. We were on a family trip. We took my grandpa to Hawaii for his 75th birthday. It's he used to find in the newspaper in New York, he would find senior discounted trips to Hawaii, and he and my grandmother would go on them. And then when my grandmother passed away, it was the one place he could go and truly feel reconnected with her. Although it was great. So he would take these great super senior discounted trips to Hawaii all the time. And so for his 75th birthday, my dad said, I would like to take you. We'll take, my family. They've never been. So we're going to go do that. And a woman my mom had graduated high school with, we had just been to my mom's 20th high school reunion. She reconnects with this woman, and she happens to say, oh, my husband and I manage a hotel on Maui. And my mom says, no shit, we're going there. So, we didn't stay. Well, that's not where we were staying or anything, but she invited us to come to breakfast there one morning on her and her husband, and her kids, would come play and we would play with them, whatever. And so we go to breakfast, and all of a sudden, like, we're the only people there. We're the only people there because we're there early, and it might have been like a checkout day. I don't know. But we look over and there's a family of 5 next to us. I love where your eyes are going because like you're trying to piece this together. This is mid to late 90s. Family of 5. The mother's head is shaved. And all of a sudden, do you have it?
Do you have a guess? Fucking Bruce Willis and Demi Moore.
It's fucking Bruce Willis and Demi Moore.
Okay, we're done here. I'm out. You met Mr. Diehard?
We didn't say anything.
Okay, fair. They needed their space.
Family vacations. We were both on family vacations. But like the whales start like breaching out in the water. So we're all running around to the beach. Like, oh my God, look at that. We're like shoulder to shoulder with them. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I did not freak out and like go cry and pretend I was stomachache like I did with Michael Bolton. And it was so funny. My dad's reaction, I was like, man, we should have gone up and asked for their autograph or whatever. My dad was like, no, like, we're on family vacation. They're on family vacation. Like, how do you know he didn't want my autograph and he didn't ask me because he knew that would annoy me? And I was like, okay, Dad, whatever. But like, it's true. Like, these are real people having a real family vacation. So we didn't bother them. But that was very, very cool. Later that week, Jason Alexander, who plays George Costanza, of my favorite show and my inspiration for my lovely name.
You met Costanza?
I didn't meet him, but I saw him in the distance and was just like, because that is still to this day my number one favorite show in the history of the world. And just started screaming, "Can't stand you," which he probably hated because he probably gets that all the fucking time. We weren't even staying in this like super luxurious place. I guess it just happened to be there at the right time.
Well, I feel like Maui is like, there's a short, like back in the 90s, right? It wasn't probably as developed as it is now, right? So there's like probably a limited amount of hotels back then. But you met Mr. Diehard in person.
Mr. Diehard.
Well, that's what we're calling
him. Reginald Val Johnson, but it's fine.
It's fine.
Take my picture with it. Yeah, so that was a that was a good one. That was a very, very good one.
Wow.
Another poignant one from my childhood, since we're still kind of there. We were, and man, now that I'm like saying all these stories, they do sound very privileged and very pretentious.
As we've noted before, that is accepted here.
But so my mom, where my mom worked for almost 30 years, it was at a university that had a golf club. And because my mom worked there, my dad could play there. And so one day my mom was like, all right, I got to go to work. Your dad's at work. It's summer. We're just going to drop you at the golf course all day. Like, just go play golf, like, do whatever. And what we did not know is that at about lunchtime, they were shutting down the course for a celebrity tournament. And my brother and I, there were no cell phones, right? So we go up to the clubhouse. This is like rinky-dink clubhouse. It cracks me up thinking about it. Cause like, God, I love this place. It's like a staple of my childhood. But we call my mom and we're like, oh, they're like shutting down the golf course. So we're not entirely sure what we're going to do, but there's a bunch of like basketball players here. So like, don't worry, it's not Michael Jordan. but it was also the 90s, so it was around like the height of Air Jordan. But so we call it, she's like, well, whatever, like I'm up the street, but like I got work I have to finish, so just like figure it out. So we're like, all right, we'll follow some basketball players around, whatever. And we know where the cart house is, so we're at the carts and we can see like who's going to be playing. And there's like a bunch of Knicks players. And so we start saying like John Starks is big at this time. Patrick Ewing wasn't there, but one of their players, Chris Child, was there. And we're like, oh, good luck, Mr. Child. Like, have fun. He stops his cart, looks at me and my brother, and says, you know what? I need caddies for this.
No.
And my brother and I got to ride around the golf course all day with New York Knicks very own number one on your jerseys and in your heart, Chris Child. And he was so nice, like literally just like putzing around with these two kids. Like he's like, hand me my clubs. And my brother would, bring him his whatever club he wanted. And anytime because these cell phones were like brand new. And of course he's an NBA player. So like he had one and it was like super fancy. Anytime his phone rang, I got to answer the phone, which a lot of people were very surprised to hear some, like, I must have been 9 or 10 years old. I don't even remember. Be like, what? Who are you? It's like, he's putting at the moment. Can he call you back?
Can I take a message? Is this urgent?
So that was really, yes. So like we met John Stark. We met a couple of other players. Like it was very cool. And then later, many years later, I'm in a golf tournament for work in the DC area and Patrick Ewing is there. So I go up to him and I say, excuse me, Mr. Ewing, as like, I'm looking up at this 8-foot tall giant human being.
Right.
And I'll post some of these pictures because these pictures do exist. So I will dig some of these out and post them to our page. I didn't. Ooh, good pull. I did
good
not.
Pun.
Yes. I told him this story and he was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. And like, these were his teammates for years. So,
yeah.
So I've also met Patrick Ewing. And there've been a lot of athlete meetings here and there just cause like we like sports. I like going to sporting events. We live in DC and, this picture has been popping around here recently because, Alex Ovechkin just broke Wayne Gretzky's all-time scoring record, which I may or may not have cried. And back in 2008, my friend and I were at a club and they had just come back from an away game and like 6 Washington Capitals like roll into the same club we're at. And I'm like, it's fucking Alex Ovechkin and Alexander Semin and Nicholas Backstrom and Sergei Fedorov and like Victor Kozlov. I'm like naming all these amazing players. And Ovi goes to leave. And I'm like, again, sometimes I feel like I have that decent balance of like not bugging somebody or creating a scene. Like if no one recognizes that it's a celebrity, but I happen to notice them, like I may say hi or be like, hey, I'm a big fan or whatever. But like, I don't want to cause a scene and start a chain reaction of like, come take pictures. But I'm like, the fuck, I'm not taking my picture with Ovi. So I've got a picture with Ovi. I've met him, I'm a little biased, but like greatest hockey player of all time. So that's another big one for me. Man, where do I go next? Again, there's a couple like sightings here and there. I think part of it too is I have no shame to go up and say hi to people. Right.
And I think this is the moment for me to say that I've never met a famous person.
No, stop it. No.
Nope.
No fucking way.
Nope.
Like, you haven't seen one in the street?
Nope.
Really?
Yep.
Really? How? You travel so much.
I travel so much.
Right now, I'm in disbelief.
The disbelief, but like it's either I don't pay attention because it's impossible, right?
It is. It's impossible.
But I've never seen or met a famous person.
Wow, okay.
And
I would
I've
not
been
have
to
guessed
like
that.
so many random, like so many. I've like met like obviously like yeah, never met like a famous like sports, and I went clubbing back in the day, right? Like I went to all the clubs. Never, like never when I'm in New York, I never run into somebody or like see them like anywhere.
There's
It's insane.
maybe you just haven't noticed because because you travel and you do like to just go out and do things, I guarantee you've been in the vicinity of one.
Probably. I mean, it's probably impossible, but like this is why I'm always like, she's met people. How come yeah. So that I think is like the contrast here where I have not seen one in the
You
wild.
probably just didn't notice.
Probably.
Yeah, and so these I specifically chose a lot of these because these are like in the wild, right? Like
Yeah.
we've we've met Muhammad Ali, but it's because so my mom ran the Olympic torch in 1996. You like when the Olympics were in Atlanta, you could sign people up to run a half mile all around the country, and they were going to hit all 50 states, and they did. It was super cool. My dad entered. You would enter through McDonald's because it was in Atlanta. It was a big Coca-Cola thing,
Right.
and mom got selected. And so when we saw that Muhammad Ali had lit the torch, there was one of those, oh, for you little babies out there, they have like Comic-Con and like convention shows, right? Drag con, crime con, like there's a con for everything, right? There used to be shows, they were like collectible con, where you would go and you would pay to enter, and they would sell like baseball cards and basketball, like actual like sports cards, ones that were very valuable. You could buy a lot of sports memorabilia, signed stuff, used stuff. But a lot of times they also had like actual sports stars and celebrities come. And so we found one that Muhammad Ali was going to be at so my mom could get her torch signed. Like we waited in line for hours. We paid extra. Like those to me don't count, right? Like cuz like
Right.
we paid
Yeah.
to make that happen and we should
Right.
have. That's exactly what we should have done in that moment. But these I specifically chose cuz these are like in the wild. And so
In the
like
wild.
when you say like sightings, like I've I feel like I always have my eyes up and around, especially in New York, because I've seen like Sean Hayes and David Allen Greer and Dan Marino in New York. Not too long ago, I like, this was our son's first trip. This was our first trip coming out of COVID, our first trip with our son. And we went up to New York City and we see Questlove, speaking of SNL, and our producer and amazing mixologist of the injectable 10 minutes of SNL 50 years of music. And he gets out of an SUV, and I'm literally like taking our son out of the car to be like,
Bless him, please bless him.
just, we didn't. Yeah, I was like 3 seconds from just like, take my child. Let me take this picture of him with you. We love you. So, but yeah, and like even just around town, like in DC, I've seen Jose Andres several times, who's I think one of the greatest human beings on the planet.
He
But
fucking lives in
sometimes
my
I know to
neighbor.
like
Like he's
keep,
in my like
yeah.
area. Like I know he lives around here, and I still have not seen. Oh, I have seen Dr. Fauci, which I
Oh, okay.
that's
Which he's a DC area
DC, but
celebrity.
I wouldn't count him as like celebrity-ish. But yeah, I've
Yeah, we're
seen
not
him.
counting politicians.
Yeah, yeah, we're not counting politicians. If we counted politicians, then we'd be here for hours.
Yeah, no. So
But
we're not going to do that.
we're
But
not gonna do that.
because I worked on the Hill, I did get to meet Ashley Judd and Bono and Paul
Is Ashley,
Simon.
is Ashley Judd as nice in person?
She was very sweet. It was very short. Like it was
Right.
just kind of in passing. I was a Senate doorkeeper at the time, which is like my favorite job ever that I've ever had. And so I was literally just like letting her in and out of like viewing the Senate gallery doors. But she was very sweet. She was very sweet. But I did not like interact with her like all that much.
Yeah.
But
I
man,
think you see how people are with like people like that, right? If you as
yeah,
the Senate doorkeeper and she seemed sweet, like that
yeah.
means she's sweet because those usually people like don't
I'm nobody.
care.
I'm
Yeah.
nobody. I'm 20 years old. I'm I'm opening the door. That's my job. That's it. She I'm nobody. And she was very sweet. Like asked how I was, just and didn't even it wasn't like I didn't even have to stop her. She was like, "Oh, thank you so much. How's your day? Thank you so much for this." Like she
Yeah,
was great.
I feel like that is like an indication of like
Yeah.
how a good of a person. Also, did Bono make you pay pizza? Did you make you pay for pizza? And he ate like 3 slices.
He did
Paul
not.
S- Paul Simon. Paul Simon.
Paul Simon. That was a good
Ah,
one too.
yeah.
Also very short, very brief, but like
Yeah. But
yeah,
still.
very nice, very nice. And I think so one of the if we really want to tie it to like connection, this is where
Yeah.
we get into some of the stories where like um I'll tell some of these and then I'll close out with some of my with the ones that make you really angry.
No,
If
I
that
will not.
or I can tell those now and then we can let's why don't I tell those now and then we can close with the relevant ones to our show.
Yeah, and I'll start taking some deep breaths. Some cleansing breaths.
So, oh my god. Oh, I did see here. I'll start with some other ones to like so
All
you can
right.
have some more time to prep. So, Oktoberfest 2023 had a fun sighting which I thought was very funny because I am not a current country music fan. I always have to now that I've been to Nashville, I have to specify like basically anything pre I know your marker is Shania Twain. Anything pre Shania Twain is basically I know it. Like I know it, I like it. Anything now, it's not my thing. Pop country, just like kind of not my thing. And if it's your thing, great. I'm so happy for you. Don't come at me. Like it's just not my thing. Um, but so we're with a group of us at Oktoberfest. And I turn and I'm like, guys, is that totally like Miranda Lambert's doppelganger? Because that lady looks just like her. And again, not being the country music person, they all turn and look and they're like, you dumb motherfucker, that is Miranda. She was at the table next to us with her like new cop boyfriend, which is how they all recognized her because
By the cop boyfriend, but was the cop, are they still together?
I think they're married now.
Okay.
I think they had like just gotten married and like they were, and then we also confirmed on her Instagram and on her Instagram stories that like it was in
It
fact,
was her.
I mean, some of us like went up and said hi and we were like, hey, huge fans, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a fun sighting, especially because like I don't
Oh.
I don't know if I can name one of her songs. I probably could, but I don't know.
Kerosene, I think, is one.
What is it?
It's called Kerosene.
Oh, okay,
I don't
cool,
listen to her like necessarily, but I think that's a song of hers.
okay.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites, like almost starstruck, was definitely like fumbling my words with this one. Um, I was at a board meeting, and the hotel we were staying at, it was in Arizona. It was spring training for Major League Baseball, and I turn and fucking Joe Torre, who to me like looks a little bit like my grandpa. He was the Yankees general manager, or yeah, the Yankees manager for like most of my whole life. Has the most World Series with the team. Like Joe Torre feels like a family member, and he goes into this just a little coffee ice cream shop, and no one else is in there. And so I turned and I was like, guys, I'm going. I'm going and I'm getting my picture. And I walk in and it's just me and him and like the staff. And I don't know how many people of the staff knew who it was, but I was like, excuse me, sir. And this is like a year ago and I'm fucking 40. And I'm like, oh my God, excuse me, I'm such a big fan. Oh my God. I don't really get starstruck, but this one I was like, and then like I walk out and fucking Cece Sabathia is there. And I was like, just keep it coming. Just keep it coming. Cause a bunch of like,
I'll just stand here and just send them to me.
yeah, like just, And then there were a whole bunch of like new young players that I did not recognize, but I was like, okay, so spring training stars are here, clearly.
Clearly, this is
Yeah,
the
so
place to be.
that was the place to be. So that was another good run in. So now we could get into the one, because these are both of these were complete happenstance run-ins, like not at an event, not at something that we knew he would be there, but I have been blessed by whatever gods it is that are out there and that anybody who's anyone could believe in, because I have been within 10 feet of Jason Momoa, not once, but twice. And I still can't believe it that it happens. One, yes, please, Linda, because I've been talking for.
No, I got nothing. I got nothing. I got nothing if it's not expletives.
He's as big and beautiful in person as he is on television. Just gonna throw that out there. The first time, which I still can't believe is something I say, 2018, my new husband and I, we'd just gotten married. We did, and he hates this term, but we knew we were gonna wait. Quotations.
We're not really married when this person is around.
We were gonna wait a whole year and like really plan our honeymoon. Like we weren't just gonna leave right after, right? Like we just knew we'd be exhausted, and it was just so we knew we were gonna wait a whole year to do like our big official honeymoon. But we did want to do like a weekend away to celebrate and, you know, take a break from all the planning and the event and stuff. So as we do, we went to Boulder, Colorado for a long weekend for a weekend Dead and Company run at Folsom Field, but then filled our days with like all sorts of other great stuff. Like Boulder, it was the first time I'd ever really spent time there. Absolutely love that little town. Like it is absolutely fantastic. But we stayed at this, I think it was called Base Lodge or Base Camp. And it was a refurbished motel that they made into this like kind of, you know, one of those like quote unquote lifestyle, like under $100 a night to stay there. But like it had a rock climbing wall and a cute little bar where they had like themed drinks every night. And just like a cool, like the rooms were super chill and super cool. And we are walking out to go just, I think, to like the Boulder Farmers Market or something. And I walk out and we see this just like burly monster of a man with the hair, like, you know, kind of the scraggly hair and his signature kind of like dark tank top and the cargo pant look. And I'm just kind of like, what? Like, stop me in my tracks, because I'm like, there's no fucking way. And he turns around and my jaw just drops, because I'm like, there's fucking Jason Momoa right there. He's standing right there. And my now husband grabs me by the wrist and starts sprinting. He's like, we are going.
We're out of here.
And meanwhile, I'm screaming like, because I fucking have a crush on her too. And they were still together at the time, right? She's gorgeous. But it was so funny where we start walking and my face is just like, and I look at him, I was like, he's like, I'm well aware of who that was. I was like, legit. He was like, I know, that was pretty fucking cool. He's like, we were just like 10 feet from Khal Drago. And it turns out he was there filming some like some motorcycle show that he has. Maybe it's on YouTube or something.
Right.
Yeah. Where they like fix up old motorcycles, and they were just like going out into the mountains and like cruising around, but they were staying at this hotel. And so like, again, like nothing fancy, this like rugged, very like characteristic of Boulder type of place that we were like, we're going to be out all day. We just want a cool place to like lay our heads at the end of the day. Fucking Jason Momoa is like staying in the same place. So that's my first Jason Momoa. My second one happened 11 months ago.
I will say this. This is a testament to how strong our
friendship
friendship
object
is.
in your hand. Thank God we're not in the same room.
It's a pen. You know I'm harmless. Fine, I'll put it down. It's a pen. It was a pen, everybody.
It's okay. We're not in the same room right now.
Yeah, we're not. But even if we were, it's a testament to how strong this friendship is. That I'm not ceasing all communications with this person. Given that she's met Jason Momoa twice, or seen him, or been in the vicinity of him.
We've made eye contact twice. Does that make it better or worse?
Why'd you do that to me?
I have not touched his hand, though, which, like, I have not touched Jason Momoa.
Like, I feel like that's just like saying, I don't know. Yeah.
I have not touched the statue of David. I've seen it. I have not touched it.
Are we even allowed to touch the statue of David? It's exactly. Fine, right? Like, there's
that's
no way. No way.
We would burst into dust if we touched Jason Momoa. That's the secret. But so the second time. This was 11 months ago, by the way. So I'm taking my first trip to Nashville. Never been to the state of Tennessee. My mom and I do a girls' trip to Nashville. She's going to run a race. She's like, you want to come with me? I'm like, hell yeah. I hear Nashville's cool. And it is. I cannot wait to go back to Nashville. Loved that city. I also wore like all of the most political shirts I could possibly wear. Like my drag is not a crime shirt, my 1973 Roe vs. Wade shirt. Like I felt great doing it. Felt great doing it. But so my mom loves to play the guitar. It's a hobby she picked up while my dad was very sick and she had to fill time. And so we went, right, it's Nashville. A lot of the best guitar stores in the country are in Nashville. And it's home to Gibson, which I wanted to see. I don't play the guitar, but like, you all know now, I love music. It's Gibson, and all my favorite guitarists are Gibson people. So I wanted to see kind of like this Gibson garage because it kind of serves as like a little bit of a museum too, in my mind anyway. Not really, but it was very, very cool. So we go in. My mom's like, I think I'm gonna buy a guitar. Like, how cool it would be. Like, we're here in Nashville. I'm at the Gibson garage. Let's buy a guitar. So we're in there for like an hour. She's testing stuff. I'm just looking around. Like, it's super cool. They've got a lot of cool clothes in there too. And we're like, let's go. We'll go get lunch. We'll go get a couple drinks. Then you can decide. We're like, let's get you drunk and decide to buy a guitar. So we go to this great little bar. We get a couple drinks and she's like, fuck it. I'm going back and I'm getting, so like exactly what we said we would do. She wants to go back and get the guitar. We walk in and there's 3 men on the stage just playing music. And again, my jaw hits the floor. My heart and my stomach are up in my throat because I can't believe it's happening again. And I grab my mom's arm and I pull her in and I'm like, and she's like, who?
I'm sorry. What? Come on, Elaine's mom.
Like, Mom, look at the giant man in the white t-shirt. And she's like, oh, that guy. I'm like, yeah, you're not invited. He and 2 of his buddies started a band and they were practicing. They were having a dress rehearsal by chance in the Gibson garage before they played their first show at a bar down the street in Nashville. They were there for 2 nights and like he's playing bass and he's just up there in jeans, a white t-shirt, no shoes, just playing the bass, and they're covering like Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I'm like, this is fucking amazing. So my mom like goes back to buy her guitar and I'm like, take your time. She did, like she's, And so they just got like, we weren't allowed to take pictures. Like the Gibson folks were like very like on top of, there were 10 people in there. Like there was 2 staffers for each one of us in there to make sure we didn't,
Yeah,
which is
yeah, yeah.
fine. Like that's fine. But yeah, so that's my second Jason Momoa story. And the Gibson garage is not very big. So again, I was probably about 10 or 15 feet from him up on this stage, just being like, I'm totally cool with this continuing to be a thing.
I'm
Like, I
like
hope I get
putting
more stories to bring
I'm
back
putting
to the
this
podcast.
I'm putting this into the ether, and I'm like, maybe this is my turning point. Maybe this episode is when I will walk out and run into Glenn Powell, and I physically
That's
will
your boy.
pretend to run into him.
No, what we need now is like, we're putting it out into the universe so we can have Linda's version of this. Because
Yes.
like, you need to start, we need to, not that you don't need to do anything, but like,
I need to run into Glenn Powell physically.
yeah. Well, you definitely need to run into Glenn Powell, if no one else.
Yeah.
So I know I've been talking about these for a minute, but there's 2 in particular I think that like make a lot of sense to talk about for our show, because our show is about connection. And these 2 celebrity sightings led to 10 to 15 minute long conversations, like actual conversations with these people. And it's because, again, I kind of have no shame in saying hi to somebody, but also sometimes like what we do for work requires us to network a lot. We're really good at it. But my husband always makes fun of me because I like to know where people are from. Like, it's one of my first questions, like, where are you from? Because I think that's a common connection point for people. Or even if you can say like, oh, I've never been there, or I have been there, and here's what I saw, and here's what I loved about the place where you come from, right? Like, it's an instant, people are generally pretty excited when you've been to their hometown or near their hometown. Or so to me, it's just like a great connector, right? And also just like people, like the world is actually pretty small, right? And so if you know of a connection that you have with somebody, even if they are a celebrity, who gives a shit? Like, bring it up. So I'll do this one first because most people won't know who he is. But Warren Haynes is one of my favorite guitarists of all time. He has played with the Allman Brothers for a very long time. He has his own band called Government Mule, but he's played with the Grateful Dead. He is truly like he's got his own sound. He's from Asheville, North Carolina. He is like just truly fantastic. I love him. I met him years ago through my college professor who used to take us to Beacon Theater for the private Allman Brothers Beacon Theater show. We would stay afterwards and meet members of the band. Because for our class, like the class was rock poetry. It was like the dream of all dreams for me. So I had met him once before, but very briefly. And my husband and I are in New York, and it's the day after Halloween, and we go to Jekyll and Hyde's in Greenwich Village. So growing up, they had a midtown spot that was 4 floors, and it was like the most fun place. So every year for our birthday, that's all my brother and I wanted to do. We like, what do you want to do for your birthday? I want to go to lunch at Jekyll and Hyde's because it was just so fun and interactive. And it was just like, you can't even explain it. So I got super pumped because I'm like, we have a day. The Midtown one is gone, but the original is in Greenwich Village. And they kept a bunch of like the animatronics from the big one and moved it there. Not thinking that maybe Halloween is like their biggest night of the year. We show up like 1:00 in the afternoon for lunch, and like literally no one is there. And I was like, did you guys like, are you open yet? And they're like, yeah, we just like, we told the staff to like come in when they could because we were open till like 4 a.m. I was like, oh shit, Halloween. I'm so right, of course. So we're sitting there, and all the stuff they start turning on all the stuff for us. Cause I kind of told them like, this is a serious childhood memory for me. So they start putting off all this stuff, and fucking Warren Haynes and his friend and their kids walk in. They are the only other people in the entire restaurant. It's just us. And they're at the table, like catty corner from us. And I waited until the kids went up and started running around and seeing everything, because I was not going to bother him while his kids were at the table. But so I get up and I say, I turn to a friend and was like, I'm so sorry. We're the only people here. So I have to take this opportunity. Like, I am a huge fan, but we have a mutual friend in my former professor. And he's like, oh my God, of course. And I said, I actually met you back in 2003. I was there as part of his, 2007, like I was part of his class. I still go to concerts with him. So we like end up talking. I was like, we just, we were here for the Halloween Dead and Company show at Madison Square Garden last night. My cousin's running the marathon. Like we started talking. He's telling us like he and the kids and his friend and his kids went on the USS Intrepid and they were doing a bunch of museums and like, we had a conversation, and it was just because, I didn't make a scene. There wasn't a scene to make. We're the only people there, but I wanted him to know, like, I'm also coming up because like we have this mutual connection and he's important to me and it's important to me that I point that out to you. And also it kind of like grounds people a little bit, right? Like it's an equalizer maybe too, is to say like, yes, you are a celebrity. I think you are a celebrity. I know you're a celebrity, but like, I'm here to also tell you I'm not here to freak out because we have a mutual friend. Maybe it's weird, but like to make that connection to me is a big deal.
Yeah, and I think it's always, it's not because I feel like the connection to musical celebrities is a little different because it's about
Yeah.
you care about, the music that they make and and music, movies are great and we're not saying it's not an art form. I'm not saying it's not an art form, but like music is like something slightly different, right? Like people create it, people play it, there's a very different distinct, I think, difference with like music,
Yeah.
because it just speaks to us in like a very primal way, right? I mean, there's so much evidence of music going back. Like we did music and like painting. So, at the beginning of like when we started to evolve as humans. So I feel like that's like the connection
Yeah.
as opposed to like also a mutual person that you knew. But I feel like it's like, hey, I'm coming up to you, music person, because I love, your music and I love what you represent. And I feel like that one is also grounding because it's so emotional. It's not because this person is famous, it's because this person kind of creates something that connects to you personally. I don't know. That's just
Yeah. No,
what
it's
I
very true.
like how I see
And
it.
no, I completely agree. And we'll round it out with, honestly, I think my favorite celebrity interaction, because this man was so nice and not just to me, to everyone.
I think this is my favorite story, even though the Jason Momoa story makes me really angry. It makes my blood pressure slightly elevated that I wasn't with you. But two, this one's my favorite. I think.
This one's my favorite as well. Because I think most people would assume he's an asshole.
Right.
And he absolutely was not. Like, he is now someone on a list of like dinner, living or dead on the invite list. This man is now on it forever. So my husband and I were at an event, and we come back to the group that we were with, and fucking Mark Cuban is there. This was not something that was like announced. I don't think it was honestly all that expected. But Mark Cuban is there. And he's hanging out with this group for the day. Like, he just was like, oh, hey, I know these people. Like, I'm cool. I'm going to go and hang out with them. And, immediately there's a line of people that want to meet him and talk to him and get a picture and whatever. And people are tapping him on the shoulder left and right, saying, and this is a golf tournament. It's waste management. So people are hammered all the time at this thing. It's the most fun. But as you can expect, people are tapping him on the shoulder, being like, the best Shark Tank idea, like left and right. He is listening to every single one of them. He's like, tell me about it. And like, not in a facetious way, not in a sarcastic way. And he would literally look you in the eyes and say, tell me about it. And he'd be like, you know what? That's a good idea. Like, if you really are passionate about it, apply for the show, right? Like, he wasn't going to be like, yeah, I'll invest. Like, that wasn't going to happen. But
Right.
like, left and right, people are doing this. And he's talking to everybody. So finally, we kind of like are in a position where we can be a part of the conversation, introduce ourselves, and I do the same thing. I'm like, hey, we have a mutual friend. And it is, the bar doesn't exist anymore, which absolutely breaks my heart. But there's a bar in the Cayman Islands that used to be called Calico Jack's. And it's one of Mark Cuban's favorite places to go. And I know this because the owner of it, whose name is Ishmael, would tell us about it all the time. And so when I all of a sudden, out of nowhere, have an opportunity to meet Mark Cuban, I'm gonna say, hey, like we have a mutual friend, and like I love this
Yeah.
bar. It's like the most quintessential beach bar. Like, show up in your bathing suit, no shoes. You come off a boat if you want to. Like, it's like great tropical drinks, fried conch fritters, like, no frills, fantastic place. And he's like, no shit. And so if we start talking about that, I don't have any Shark Tank ideas, so that was not a thing I was going to bring up. But like anytime I was even trying to I wasn't trying to end the conversation, but I wasn't trying to hoard a bunch of time when there were a ton of people that clearly like he was willing to talk to and people wanted to talk to him. We talked to him for like 10 or 15 minutes because he kept asking things like, where are you from? What do you do? Like he was asking the questions just as much as we were. And finally we kind of, and I know he's from Pittsburgh, and so we talked about the Caps and the Penguins, rivalry in hockey and all this stuff, and he was just so unbelievably nice and down to earth. And we finally get down to it, and I wasn't, again, like everyone's asking for pictures, it's a whole thing. Then he goes, "Hey, you want to get a picture?" And I was like, "Yes." So I do have my picture with Mark Cuban.
So and I think this is it, right? You connected beyond like what you needed from him. Like, right? Because people were
Totally.
connecting because like they wanted something from him. And I think, you know, obviously friends help friends and, all of this stuff, but like people want to be connected to other people and you had like the greatest kind of connection. Hey, it's a vacation spot. We know you love it. Like here, he mentioned you before. And I think that's kind of something people miss, right? I think sometimes and this is just, I don't think this just goes for the celebrities. I think this goes for everyone, right? And I think we know the people that use people to use people, and that just never works. It never works.
Yeah.
Transactions never work in the long run, and for meaningful connection that actually support your emotional and intellectual needs. So like good on you not being a dick about meeting Mark Cuban. But I think that's what I like about the story the most, right? It's about, it was a thoughtful interaction in addition to the fact that he's Mark Cuban.
But he also wasn't a dick, which he could have very
Oh,
easily have been a dick. You know what I mean? But and
of
anybody can
course. Yeah.
easily be a dick. And I
Yeah.
think one of the things, like my parents forever and always are like, celebrities, that what they always said, celebrity put their pants on one leg at a time, just like us. So like these
Indeed.
are just people. Yes, like I've had my starstruck moments, and you do they draw people in, right? Like you want to approach them, but like you can be mindful and connective in your interactions with them.
Yeah.
And I think, at least in my experience, it has, yes, let them know you're a fan and that their work means something to you. But if you can connect to them on a human level, like that's what they want to hear. That's what they want to know, I
Yeah.
think.
And I will say this because I love putting in rules and stuff. If they're with their kids, leave them alone.
Yeah. No, that's always been the thing. Like I waited for Warren Haynes's kids to leave the table. We
Exactly.
didn't interact with Bruce Willis or Demi Moore because the kids to me is like that's just off limits.
Yeah. I feel like that's a pretty good rule. And like if you're
Yeah.
a good person, like you already know that. Like you already like
Yeah.
intrinsically know. You're like, yeah, they're with their family. I'm just going to leave them. But
And also, if
yeah,
it's like a younger celebrity, like, and you're a grown ass person, like, I don't know,
don't do it.
maybe leave it.
Kind of
Maybe
gross.
leave it alone.
Yeah. Or maybe rethink why you want to talk to that person.
Yeah. I do still have my list of celebrities where, like, if I ever saw them in the wild, I might freak out. But
And I think I've mentioned this before, but there is one person that I will, if I ever meet them, will freak the fuck out. I will
it's a
be self
Bollywood actor, right?
It's a
The
Bollywood actor. Shah Rukh Khan, if you're listening, um, I will not like I still and I think you've known me long enough. I'm not a giggler. Like I don't really giggle. There are some movies where I watch it, I'm full on giggling. Like it never fails. Never fails. Like I'll
I
show
love
you
it
this
so
one
much.
time. Like I'll show you the video. Like I'll show you like one piece of the movie where I'm just like giggling like an idiot.
Done. I love it.
So I will, yeah. If I meet him, I will die happy. Glenn Powell, I'll be self-possessed. I'll be like, please sign my thing of mustard of your new condiment that is now in my bag.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna approach him with a thing of mustard and be like, "Hey, I haven't tasted this, but because I don't like mustard, I like mustard, but I'm like,
Oh man, give me all the mustard.
yeah, I don't know. Like mustard's not my preferred
Teach their
condiment.
own. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
like, but I'll still have it. Like, I'll have it on a hot dog. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yum.
yeah.
Well, that's me talking for an hour about celebrities I've met. Sorry, everybody.
No.
Also, not sorry.
I thought. Don't be sorry. Fuck that. These were awesome. These were awesome stories. And I think that's why, I think they're super cool. I have to go Mark Cuban, Michael Bolton. Those are the two top
That one, when you
top
said
ones.
when you brought this idea forward, I was like, what was my first? Oh, it was totally Michael Bolton. That's such a good one.
And also, way to bury the lead as to not tell me that you've met Michael Bolton ever.
I know, but like, I'm glad. Hey, it was worth the wait to drop that
It
bomb
was.
on you here.
It was. It definitely was. Yeah, so super super awesome episode. Thanks for sharing all these awesome stories and yeah, I did not I enjoyed this. I enjoyed hearing these stories because I think that's what sometimes we're an amalgam of stories, but that still like kind of puts us in, we're living life and trying to figure stuff out. So I think
Yeah,
it's
I was
um
happy to do it.
Anyway, so we had in the last episode talked about the doc is in, which will come afterwards, but we will be talking about sour grapes next episode. And yeah, I mean, as always, email us if you have any cool celebrity stories. We'd love to feature them.
Yeah.
Tell us. I will now, start marking the time late April on, when now I start this is pre and post meeting celebrities or running into them or at
Yes.
least seeing them in the wild. Yeah. And again, I really want to hear everybody else's stories. I think we really want to hear those and we'll share them if there's like really cool ones. And yeah, thank you so much for joining and take us out, Elaine.
Stay interesting.